our the new chapter for our subject pre-calculus would be mathematical induction, and if we can finish this chapter earlier than the required time, move on tayo sa next chapter then, which is the trigonometry. Pero before that, let's focus with this chapter. This chapter is entitled Mathematical Induction. Before actually talking about mathematical induction, we have to review ourselves first with some important terms, some important topics prior to mathematical induction para mas maintindihan natin siya. Okay, anyway, mathematical induction is a useful tool actually. It is a tool. Ginagamit siya to prove, it is used to prove certain theorems or properties, especially on the set of positive integers or the natural numbers. So, and by extension, dahil mas common ang positive integers or real numbers sa real life situation, ginagamit ang mathematical induction to prove certain things in real life situations. Okay. To be able to understand mathematical induction, we need to understand first what are sequences and series. And of course, the distinction between the two. Ano bang pinagkaiba nilang dalawa? Okay. Let's try to analyze this problem. Jason's classroom is on the second floor of the school. And then, he can take 1 or 2 steps lang. Ibig sabihin, ang kaya niya lang, ang reach niya lang ng bawat hakbang niya, no, sa stairs, kunwari aakyat siya dun sa hagdan, ang kaya niya lang gawin is either isang hakbang, one step of stair, or 2 steps, hanggang dun lang. Hindi niya na kayang yung 3 pataas. So, yun lang yung kaya niyang ihakbang dun sa hagdan. Ang tanong sa atin dito is, how many ways can Jason climb the stairs if it has 16 steps? So, kasi dahil nga pwede siyang mamili, 'di ba? Pwedeng isa or dalawa yung paghakbang niya. For example, pwedeng naghakbang siya dito ng isa and then dalawa, isa, dalawa. So, or pwede rin namang dalawa kaagad, isa, dalawa. So, ang tanong sa atin is ilang ways. So, knowing na isa or dalawang steps lang yung kaya ni Jason, in how many ways can Jason climb the stairs? Ilang configuration kumbaga. So, para maintindihan mo, let's take it one at a time. For example, isa lang yung step nung ladder or nung stairs. Kunwari, second floor ka agad. Syempre, sulat ko dito, number of steps, tapos dito yung number of ways. Okay. Kung isang step lang, syempre, second floor na kaagad, there is only one way, 'di ba, for Jason to reach the second floor kung isang step lang yung stairs. So if we have one step, there is only one way, which is isang step lang. Kung gagawin nating dalawa yung stairs or yung steps ng stairs, so pwedeng ang gawin ni Jason is tig-isa dahil kaya niyang tig-isa, 1, 2, that is one configuration or that is one way of climbing the stairs, or dahil kaya niya nga ng dalawang hakbang, pwedeng magdalawang hakbang siya agad. So, plus 1, that is 2 ways of climbing the stairs if the stairs has 2 steps. So, kapag dalawang ways din. Kapag tatlo, pwedeng tig-isa-isa. So, 1, 2, 3. That is one way of climbing the stairs kapag 3 yung steps. Pwede namang dalawa. tapos isa. So that is another way. And then, pwede rin namang isa muna and then dalawa. That makes another way of climbing the stairs kung tatlo yung steps. So that totals to 3 ways. So if the number of steps in the stairs is 3, there's also 3 ways. Paano kapag apat na? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ilang ways kaya siya pwedeng umakyat? So pwedeng tig-isa ulit. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is one way. Pwede din namang dalawa-dalawa. 1, 2. That is another way. Then, pwede din namang isa, dalawa, isa. Another way. Ano pa ang pwede? Pwedeng dalawa muna, tapos isa, isa. That is another way. Pwede rin namang isa, isa, then dalawa. So, ilan ang total niyan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, kapag 4 steps na, there are 5 ways for Jason to reach the second. We can go on forever. We can go on forever. We can move on and try other number of steps, no, hanggang dun sa ma-reach natin yung required problem. Ang required is 16 kasi ang sabi dito sa problem, there are 16 steps. Pero as you can see, there is a certain pattern. Can you look for the pattern? Sa tingin nyo, kapag 5 steps, ilang number of ways?
And add the 5 ways?
Yes. As you can see, there is a certain pattern na kung saan yung every succeeding number of ways as the number of steps in the stairs increases, yung susunod na number of ways is just the sum of the two previous number of steps, di ba? Nakuha si 3 when we add 1 and 2. Nakuha si 5 when we add 2 and 3. And therefore, number of 5 steps, that is 8. So we can continue that hanggang sa ma-reach natin yung 16. Hindi na kasya, sorry. So, if it's 8, syempre 5 plus 8 is 11. If it's 7, we have 11 plus 8, 19. And then we have 11 plus 19, 30, 49, 79, 18 carry 1, 128, 17 carry 1, 207, 15, 3, 3, 5, 12 carry 1, 4, 5, yung pang 15 is 7, 7, 8, and then we add that para makuha yung sa 16 steps, we have 9, 11 carry 1, 1,419 ways for Jason to reach the second step. Okay. This actually, yung number of ways to climb is actually a sequence, and we call that Fibonacci. So, in life, lalo na itong Fibonacci, sobrang evident nito. Sobrang dami makikita natin, even sa nature, especially sa nature, very evident itong sequence na to. Ang Fibonacci sequence is a certain type of sequence in which it is a sequence of numbers. So, order siya ng numbers, magkakasunod, na kung saan every next term is determined by adding the two previous terms. So, bawat susunod na number ay makukuha natin kapag pinag-add natin yung dalawang naunang number. Kagaya dito sa ating ginawang problem for Jason. So, the answer is 1,419 ways.
Sir,
Nagkamali ba ako sa addition?
opo, 11.
Sorry. So, 13. Okay, medyo pasensya na po doon, no? So, 13 plus 8, 21. So, I have to, at least nakita nyo naman yung, yung process. Sorry. So, 13 plus 20. Tama na ba? 8 plus 5 is 13. So, 8 and 13 is 21. This is 34. Kaya pala, sabi ko, hindi naman Fibonacci number yung lumabas. So, 55. So, I have to, ayan, 89. 14 carry 1, 144. 13, 3, 2, 3, 3. Tama ba? 13 carry 1, 12, 13 carry 1. Yes. Then 7, 7, 3. Then 10 carry 1, 11 carry 1, 610. For 15 is 7, 8, 9. And we have 1,597. Mas madami pa pala. So, please check that if it's correct. Ayan. So, medyo nagkamali na tayo sa, addition pa. But, what we have seen here, this is an example of Fibonacci sequence. Again, I repeat, ang Fibonacci sequence is a series of a sequence of numbers in which the next term or the succeeding terms are determined by adding the two preceding terms. So, what is sequence actually, and also what is series? A sequence is a function whose domain is a set of positive integers or the set 1, 2, 3 up to n. Yung kanyang domain. So, f of I, for example, this is the sequence. Yung domain niya is the set of positive integers or natural numbers. Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo kanina, mathematical induction is used to prove certain properties sa positive integers lang or sa natural numbers lang. On the other hand, ang series naman ay yung sum nung terms sa sequence. Okay? I'll give you an example of sequence. For example, usually, yung bawat number na makikita natin sa sequence is called, for example, ito. Bawat number na makikita natin dito, ang tawag sa kanila is term. No? And they are enclosed in a bracket, separated by comma. Yung comma ang nagsisilbing palatandaan na that is another number to distinguish them. Tsaka yung pagkakasunod-sunod nila. So they are separated by a comma. Each number na makikita natin ay tinatawag na nating term. And then we have what we call the general term, na kung saan it describes each term or each number doon sa ating sequence. So, for this example, ang general term natin, for example, an, yun yung usual notation for general term. Ang an natin ay 2n plus 1. Sorry, 2n minus 1. Okay. Ito po yung general term nitong given example natin na sequence na 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 or the set of odd integers. Paano nyo makukuha or i-expand para kunin yung each term? Ang gagawin nyo lang is magsasubstitute lang kayo ng positive integers or real numbers dito sa n, which is si 1, 2, 3. So, yung value ni n should be from 1, 2, 3, up to any positive integer. Kasi yun nga yung domain nung function natin. Ibig sabihin, yun lang yung pwede nating i-substitute. So, if we expand this sequence, yan, first, syempre, 1 muna. If you substitute 1 dun sa 2n minus 1, you get 2 times 1 minus 1, 1. When n equals 2, 2 times 2 equals 4 minus 1, you get 3. 2 times 3, 6 minus 1, you get 5, and so on. 7, 9, and so on, hanggang sa kung saan yung limit ng ating function. So, this is what we call the general term. Okay? Ang general term, syempre, general, ibig sabihin, para siyang template, parang ganun kumbaga. Yun yung sinusunod natin na rule para kapag sinubstitute ko yung values ni n from 1, 2, 3 up to any positive integer, kung ilan yung binigay niya dyan, makukuha ko yung bawat term dun sa sequence ko mismo. Dapat lahat ng term doon sa sequence ko should follow the general term. Kaya nga tinawag siyang general. Para siyang it summarizes yung properties ng bawat term na makikita ko sa loob. Ibig sabihin, bawat term, every number na makikita ko sa sequence should fit in this general term. Kailangan masunod niya yun. Kung hindi niya masunod yung general term, and then the term does not belong to the sequence. Okay? I hope you're getting my point. Ngayon, ang pinagkaiba ng sequence sa series is that kapag pinag-add natin lahat ng terms doon sa sequence hanggang sa kung ilan man yan, we get what we call the series. So, series is simply the sum of the sequence or the sum of the numbers in the sequence. Okay, yun lang yung kaibahan nila. Sequence, yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng numbers following a certain rule or certain property called the general term. And then, pag pinag-add natin each number or each term, we get the series. Yan. Minsan kasi, kadalasan, na napapag-interchange natin silang dalawa. Or, actually, minsan, nagiging synonymous sila or naging parehas. Although, medyo magkalapit naman talaga. Pero I just want to clear that, yung distinction ng dalawa. Pag pinag-add natin, kinuha natin yung sum ng terms ng sequence, yung series yung tinatawag. So, yung series, yun yung mismong sum ng terms. Yung sequence is yung mismong pagkakasunod-sunod ng numbers. Lahat ng numbers na magkakasunod. Following a certain rule. Yan. So, let's have an example. Determine the first 5 terms of each sequence and give their associated series. So, ito, yung given sa atin dito, these are the general term. Again, these are the general term. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng terms doon sa sequence ko should follow this general term or this certain rule. Ang gagawin lang natin to find the terms in the sequence given this general term is mag-substitute lang tayo ng value ni n starting from 1 up to kung ilan man yung given. But since the problem asks us to find the first 5 terms, we will only substitute up to n equals 5. Hanggang dun lang ang isa-substitute natin. So, let's answer number 1. When n equals 1, 2 minus 1, we get 1. When n equals 2, 2 minus 2, we get 0. Second term. Next term, when n equals 3, 2 minus 3, that is negative 1. When n equals 4, 2 minus 4, that is negative 2. And then, when n equals 5, we have negative 3. So, this is the sequence itself. To find the series or the sum of the sequence, of course, we add the terms. So sum is equal to 1 plus 0 plus negative 1 plus negative 2 plus negative 3, and the series is equal to negative 5. So, ganun na siya kadali. Magsa-substitute lang tayo at mag-a-add. Okay, I think nakuha nyo naman. So, how about problem number 2? Again, magsa-substitute lang ulit tayo ng values na n. Okay? Yung n, laging 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yan. Okay? Magsimula yan sa 1 hanggang sa kung ilan man yung sinabing terms. Laging positive integers or natural numbers lang yung gagamitin. Yun lang talaga yung domain ng sequence. So, for number 2, negative 1 raised to n. So, if n equals 1, negative 1 raised to 1, our first term is, of course, negative 1. Kasi anything raised to, any number raised to 1 is the same as the number. How about negative 1 squared? That is negative 1 times negative 1, positive 1. Negative 1 cubed is negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1, negative 1. Negative 1 raised to 4 is positive 1. And then, negative 1 raised to 5 is negative 1. Okay. This is, yan na yung, I'd like you to take note of this observation, no? Ang negative 1 raised to n kasi medyo helpful siya, lalo na sa pag-solve natin ng mathematical induction later on. As you can see, ang negative 1 raised to n, if n is even, ang sagot ay 1, di ba? Check natin, i-plot natin. When n equals 1, ito yon, 2, 3, 4, and 5. When n is an odd number, negative 1 siya. Pero when n is even number, 1 siya. Nag-oscillate siya. Oscillating sequence ang tawag dito. From two values, negative 1 and 1. So, paki-take note lang. Kasi medyo useful to mamaya. Or sa mga susunod nating problems sa mathematical induction. So, yung sum niya, syempre, add lang natin yan. Negative 1 plus 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1, 5 yan. Magka-cancel yung tig-dalawa. So, ang sum natin is negative 1. Ayun. Number 3, solve natin. Again, magsa-substitute lang tayo ng values ng when n equals 1 to 5. So, first term, when n equals 1, substitute tayo 1 plus 2 times 1 plus 3 times 1 squared. So, 2 times 1 is 2. 1 squared is 1 times 3 is 3. So, 1, 2, 3. 1 plus 2 plus 3, 6 is our first term. Next, when n equals 2, second term. So, we have 1 plus 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 2 squared is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. So, 1 plus 4 plus 12, our second term is 17. Okay. When n equals 3, we have 1 plus 6 plus 3 squared is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 1 plus 6 plus 27 is 34. Next, when n equals 4, 1 plus 2 times 4 is 8. 4 squared is 16. 16 times 3 is 48. 1 plus 8 plus 48 is 57. And lastly, when n equals 5, 2 times 5 is 10. 5 squared is 25 times 3, that is 75. 1 plus 10 plus 75 is 86. And that is our sequence: 6, 17, 34, 57, and 86. And then we add those terms, or the terms of the sequence, to find the corresponding sum, or the series. So 6 plus 17 plus 34 plus 57 plus 86, the sum is, sige, sulat natin, plus 57 plus 86, the sum is 200. Okay, so ganun lang naman kadali ang sequences and series, no? Kasi wala pa talaga tayo sa mathematical induction. Okay, sometimes pag there are common sequences bukod sa Fibonacci sequence, I think you already known about these types of sequences. So the first common siya talaga. Common sequence is the arithmetic sequence, in which each number or each succeeding term dun sa ating sequence is obtained by adding a certain constant. Yung constant na yon na ina-add lagi para makuha yung mga susunod na number is called the common difference. For example, ito, yan, 2, 5, 8, 11, 14. This is an example of arithmetic sequence. Yan. Bakit? As you can see kasi, yung first term natin, A1 is 2. The second term is A5. A2 is 5. And the third term is 8. And pag sinubtract natin sila, A2 minus A1, no, ang difference nila is 5. That is also equal when we subtract A3 minus A2. Difference nila is 3. So, parang each succeeding term, makukuha natin pag mag-add tayo ng 3 doon sa previous term. Yung 3, that is what we call the common difference. Positive 3 is the common difference. So, kung gusto pa nating expand yung susunod pa, mag-add lang tayo ng 3 pa ng common difference. So, ang isang arithmetic sequence ay merong general term na A1 plus n minus 1 times D. So, any arithmetic sequence has a general term of an equals A1 plus n minus 1 times D, where D is the common difference, and n is, of course, kung the number of terms. A1 is the first term, obviously, and an is, of course, the general term or the nth term. Minsan tinatawag din siyang nth term, as in n raised to th, pang n na term, nth term. Yan. The series or the sum of the first n terms is equal to n all over 2 times 2a1 . is 2 n all over 2 times 2a1 plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, this is the series or the sum of the first n terms to ito, n all over 2, ng isang arithmetic sequence. Another common series or sequence is what we call the geometric sequence. So this time, instead of adding something, we are multiplying some constant to the preceding term to find the next terms or succeeding terms. The constant being multiplied to is what we call the common ratio. For example, the sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, sorry, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. This is a geometric sequence. As you can see, the succeeding terms are determined by multiplying 2. So, pag nag-multiply tayo ng 2, makukuha natin yung mga susunod na terms. Yung 2 na minumultiply natin every time, this is what we call the common ratio. Bakit siya tinawag na ratio? Kasi if we divide or if we get the ratio of two consecutive terms, we get that constant. For example, itong second term and first term, so 4 all over 2, we got 2. Third term divided by second term, 8 all over 4, we get 2. We get 2. Fourth term divided by third term, we get 2, and so on. So, kaya siya tinawag na common ratio. So, this type of sequence is, again, geometric sequence. And ang kanyang general term or nth term is a1 times r raised to n minus 1, where r is the common ratio and n is the number of terms. Obviously, again, a1 is the first term. So in this given example, we have a1 is 2, a2, a3, a4, a5, a6. If we want to get the 10th term, for example, a10. So ang solution natin dyan is a1 times the common difference, common ratio. So 2 times the common ratio is also 2 multiplied to n is 10 kasi kinukuha natin 10th term. So 10 minus 1. That is 2 times 2 raised to 9, or that is 2 raised to 10, and that is equal to 2048. Sorry, 1024 lang pala. Sumobra ako. 1024. How about yung series niya or yung sum? Yung sum naman is equal to a1 times 1 minus r raised to n all over, masyadong maliit. Saan ko kaya lalagay? Ito yan sa baba, okay? Sum ng geometric sequence S is a1 first term times 1 minus r raised to n divided by 1 minus r. Yan po yung sum. Baka malito kayo pag nag-google kasi kayo. Yung ibang book or ibang resources, r raised to n minus 1 yan all over r minus 1. Parehas lang din naman po yan. Okay.
None so far.
There is also another type of sequence, a common type, what we call the harmonic sequence. Harmonic sequence is when you have an arithmetic sequence and then you reciprocate each term. For example, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 is an arithmetic sequence, right? The common difference is 2. If we reciprocate, that is, if we divide by 1 each term in the arithmetic sequence, 1, 1/3, 1/5, 1/7, 1/9. This resulting sequence is what we call the harmonic sequence. This is the nth term or the general term. So it is important that para maging harmonic siya, to be able to be called harmonic sequence, kapag ni-reciprocate natin yung kanyang terms, dapat makakapag-form tayo ng arithmetic sequence. Kung hindi tayo makakapag-form ng arithmetic sequence, and then hindi mo matatawag na harmonic sequence yung naka-reciprocate niya. Okay? It should be AN should be arithmetic sequence for BN to become a harmonic sequence. So that is just few. Marami pang sequences that exist. So we have here an example. We distinguish or we determine if what is the type of the sequence in each item. A if it is arithmetic, G for geometric, F for Fibonacci, and O if it is not one of the mentioned types. Letter A, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. This is A or an, this is an arithmetic sequence, diba? Obviously, the common difference is 2. Diba? Nag-add ka ng 2 para makuha yung mga susunod na term. Okay. Just to be clear, sa arithmetic sequence, hindi nang naman laging plus, pwede ka ring minus. Ganun lang din naman yun. Pag nagsusubtract ka, it is the same as adding a negative number. Okay. Just to be clear lang na hindi palaging addition yun. Pwede ring subtraction yung operation na evident na makikita mo kung naghahanap ka ng pattern. But for letter A, we are adding 2. The common difference is 2. And so, therefore, that is an arithmetic sequence. B is there something that we can add each term para makuha yung mga succeeding term? If we get the common difference between the second and the first term, 2, while the third and the second term, 5, fourth and third, 7. Obviously, this is not an arithmetic sequence kasi dapat pare-parehas yung common difference nung each consecutive term. How about geometric? If geometric, dapat nagmumultiply tayo ng common ratio. So, times 2. Ito, wala nang integer, Para makuha yung 9, magmumultiply ka ng 9 all over 4. So, again, the common ratio between these succeeding consecutive terms are not equal. So, that is also not hindi rin siya geometric. Hindi arithmetic, hindi rin siya geometric. How about Fibonacci? Yung Fibonacci, ano yung definition natin? Each succeeding term is determined by adding the two previous terms. So, syempre, 2 and 4 muna. So, pag pinag-add ko si 2 at 4, dapat ang susunod dito 6 para maging Fibonacci siya. And yung 4 plus 6 dapat 10. 6 plus 10, 16 dapat. However, 9, 16, 25 siya. So, hindi rin siya Fibonacci. Hindi siya arithmetic, hindi siya geometric, hindi rin siya Fibonacci. And therefore, process of elimination, O na lang yung natira. So, hindi siya type ng sequence na na-mention earlier. Kasi, actually, since we are looking for patterns na lang din naman, kung mapapansin natin, ano si 2, 4, 9, 16, 25? Actually, parang wala siyang pattern. No, ito, 2 squared, 9 is 3 squared, 16 is 4 squared, 5 is 2 squared. Okay, the second up to fourth term are perfect squares. However, yung first term hindi naman siya perfect square. So, wala pa rin talagang definitive pattern. Walang matibay na pattern. So, O talaga siya. Letter C. 1/4, 1 over 16, 1 all over 64, 1 all over 256. Okay, may ina-add ba tayo? Mahirap mag-minus sa ano. Para makuha mo yung common difference or ma-prove mo kung arithmetic sequence siya o hindi, pag minusin mo yung dalawang magkasunod. So, yung 1 all over 16 minus 1 all over 4 ba ay parehas sa 1 all over 64 at saka 1 all over 16? I think not. Hindi sila magka-parehas. Ang 1 all over 16 minus 1 all over 4 is negative 3 all over 16. Ang 1 all over 64 minus 1 all over 16 ay negative 3 all over 64. So, hindi equal yung common difference ng second and first term sa third and second term. So, that is not an arithmetic sequence automatically. How about geometric? Meron ba tayong minumultiply? So, if we divide the second term by the first term, we get 1/4. If we divide the third term by the second term, we also get 1/4. If we divide the fourth term by the third term, we get 1/4. So obviously, meron silang common ratio, no? 1/4 times 1 all over 4, makukuha mo yung 1 all over 16. 1 all over 16 times 1/4, 1 all over 64. 1 all over 64 times 1/4, 1 all over 256. So obviously, this is a geometric sequence with a common ratio of 1/4. So, pwede rin si geometric sequence, pwede rin sa fraction. No? Pwede rin tayo mag-divide. Hindi lang tayo nagmumultiply. Pwede ring division. At saka hindi lang sa integers din or whole numbers. For part D, mapapansin mo yung numerators may pattern, di ba? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, nag-a-add siya. 3, 9, 27, 81. Meron ding pattern. Yung mga denominators ay in geometric sequence. Yung mga numerators ay naka-arithmetic. Pero, if we look at it, one at a time dapat, I mean, dapat sabay nating tignan yung numerator and denominator. No, hindi siya arithmetic. Kasi pag pinag-minus natin, 2 all over 9 minus 1/3, hindi parehas sa 3 all over 27 minus 2 all over 9. Hindi rin naman siya geometric kasi wala naman tayong pwedeng multiply. Sa baba, pwede kang mag-multiply. Magmumultiply ka ng 3. Magmumultiply ka ng 3. Pero sa taas, wala ka naman pwedeng i-multiply. Nag-a-add siya. So, hindi naman pwedeng magkaiba sila. Kasi that is a fraction that should be considered as a fraction na magkasama ang numerator and denominator. So, hindi rin siya geometric. Okay? Kung pinag-add natin yung 1/3 and 1/9 to test kung Fibonacci ba siya? Supposed to be, ang makukuha natin is 5 all over 9. 3 all over 27 to. So, hindi rin siya Fibonacci. So, not A, not G, not F. Ano lang natira? O siya. When we are evaluating series or sum ng sequence ng terms, lalo na kung masyado ng marami, kung konti pa lang yung terms ng sequence natin, okay lang. Manageable. We can list every term and add every term to find the sum or the series. But kung masyado ng madami yung terms, for example, 100 terms, it is very cumbersome or hassle na ilista mo pa yung mga 100 numbers na yon isa-isa para ma-evaluate. So, to avoid yon such hassle, at saka to save time na rin and space pag nagsosolve tayo, ginagamit natin yung tinatawag nating sigma notation. Ano ang sigma notation? Ganito po ang itsura ng sigma notation. Sigma, galing from yung Greek letter mismo na sigma, which means sum. And then, we have the function or yung general term mismo ng ating sequence. Then, we have what we call the lower limit or lower bound. Minsan tinatawag din siyang bound. And then, we have the upper limit or the upper bound. So, the lower limit and the upper bound signifies the beginning and ending respectively ng ating sigma notation or ng ating series. Kung hanggang saan yung i-add natin, yung simula at huli. And of course, including yung mga terms between them. Yan. So, ang sigma notation ay ginagamit para makontract lang, no? Para mas madaling isulat. Parang to summarize, kumbaga, yung mahaba, kung lalo na kung napakaraming terms na yun nandoon sa ating series. So, if we expand itong given dito sa ating notation, by the way, ang tawag dito kay f of I, yung function mismo, yung general term is summand. Summand. Yan. This notation means, ang ibig sabihin niyan is f, m, kasi yun yung lower limit natin, that is the lower limit, magsisimula tayo sa lower limit hanggang doon sa upper limit, plus f of m plus 1. So, ang progression natin is positive integers lang or natural numbers. Ibig sabihin, mag-a-add lang tayo ng 1 each term na susunod. So, f of m plus 2 plus f of m plus 3 and so on hanggang sa ma-reach natin yung upper limit na n, f of n. So, ganun po yung ibig sabihin. This is the contracted form or yung sigma notation and this is yung expansion. Ayan. Ginagamit lang siya para, actually, to save space. Yun lang talaga yan. And save time para magsulat. Because there are some series na sobrang haba or maraming masyado yung terms niya. So, let's try to solve examples. Yan. Expand each summation and is-simplify din natin if possible. So, summation ng 2i plus 3, this is the summand. Okay? And then, 4i equals 2, lower limit, up to 4, upper limit. By the way, yung variable na i, variable lang yun, no? You can use everything, kaya nga variable. You can use other letters or variables like k, j, nasa sa inyo yan. Okay? Ang tawag sa kanya is index of summation. So, siya yung binabago. Kaya nga may I equals 2 dito. Ibig sabihin, yung value ni I is from 2 to 4. You change the value of I each term. So, if we expand this, we begin with, since our lower limit is 2, magsimula tayo sa 2. So, 2 times 2 plus 3. This is the first term ng series. Plus, okay, we add 1 dun sa lower limit. Lagi tayong nag-add ng 1, okay? 1 lang. So, 2, susunod sa 2 ay 3 plus 3. This is the second term. Plus 2 times, sunod sa 3 ay 4. So, 2 times 4. Okay, this is, ito yung tandaan natin, no? Ang binabago lang natin yung index, yung I lang. Everything is kept constant. Huwag mong baguhin yung iba. Kagaya ng 2 at 3, hindi natin yung binabago each time, every term. Ang binabago lang natin yung I mismo, yung index, yung variable. Yan. At dahil hanggang 4 lang yung upper limit natin, we stop at 2 times 4 plus 3. Kasi hanggang dun lang yung, kaya nga limit. Hanggang dun lang tayo. And then, we simplify daw if possible. So, simplify. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 3 of 4, 7. 7 is actually the first term. Plus, 2 times 3 is 6 plus 3, 9. Plus, 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. And then, you get the sum. 7 plus 9 plus 11. Or 7 plus 9 plus 11 is 27. Yun na yung simplification niya. Yung index natin na I, o yung variable na I, na pinapalitan, hindi lang laging naka-multiply or naka-add. Pwede rin siya sa exponent. No? So, if we expand this summation, number 2, the summation of, yun yung basa po dyan, the summation of 2 raised to I from I equals 0 to 5. So, we begin with I equals 0. That is 2 raised to 0. And then we add 1 each time for I. So, 2 raised to 1. Again, si I lang ang babaguhin. We only change I. Any other number or variable will remain constant. So, 2 plus, next, susunod sa 1 ay 2. Susunod sa 2 ay 3. Susunod sa 3 ay 4 malamang. And then, 2 raised to 5. And then, we end with 2 raised to 5 kasi hanggang 5 lang yung upper limit. And then, we simplify. 2 raised to 0 is 1. Any number raised to 0 is 1. Plus 2. Plus 2 squared is 4. 2 cubed is 8. 2 raised to 4 is 16. And 2 raised to 5 is 32. 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 32 is equal to 63. Ito na lang. Equals 63. So, yan po yung simplification niya. Okay. Other examples pa. Diba? Very basic lang yan. Substitution lang. Yan. Okay, sorry. Wala yung plus dito. Sa number 3, wala ito. Forget this. Siguro nasobra lang sa type. So, wala tayong nakikitang number, puro variables lang yan. And actually, yung I natin na index is naka-subscript lang. So, if we expand that, summation of AI from I equals 1 to N, let's start with A1, subscript lang siya. A2 plus A3. Sir, ano yan? Yung N. O hindi naman natin alam kung ano yung N. That is variable. So, we can continue writing up to A4 hanggang sa, para ma-shortcut, para matapos na at maabot natin yung AN, maglagay tayo ng 3 dots called ellipsis, and then plus A n. Yan yung ibig sabihin na, or yan yung expansion ng summation ng A1 from I equals 1 up to n. Nagsimula tayo sa A1, nagtapos tayo sa AN. Next, okay. Summation daw ng square root of n all over n plus 1 from I equals 1 up to 6. Okay, as you can see, sabi ko nga kanina, ang papalitan lang natin is kung ano yung given index. Kaso wala naman tayong makitang I dyan. So kung ganyan, ibig sabihin wala tayong babaguhin. So for when I equals 1, square root of n times n plus 1. When I equals 2, square root of n all over n plus 1 pa rin. No, kasi wala namang I, wala tayong babaguhin. When I equals 3, ganun pa rin, square root of n all over n plus 1. I equals 4, and then I equals 5, at saka I equals 6. Anim pa rin siya, from 1 to 6. Ayan. If we simplify that, that is actually 6 times the square root of n all over n plus 1. So 6 is square root of n all over n plus 1. So, yan po yung simplification niya. Itong number 3, hindi na natin masisimplify kasi variables naman yan. Hindi natin alam yung mga values nila. So, yan na lang talaga. In-expand lang natin, hindi natin masisimplify. For number 4, take note lang, yung I lang yung babaguhin. Kung wala kayong makitang I, wala kayong babaguhin. Pero, that doesn't mean that you don't add or you don't get the sum. I-add nyo pa rin, no, this is for I equals 1, I equals 2. Dahil wala namang I at wala kayong binabago, ibig sabihin nun, kokopyahin nyo lang siya every time, ulit-ulitin nyo lang. No, hindi porket wala kayong nakitang I, this is one of the common mistakes kasi i-equate nyo na sa 0. No, you are still required to expand and perform addition dun sa summation kahit wala kayong makitang variable na I, which is the index of the summation. For example, ito pa, other examples, kunwari, summation ng 5, as in constant na 5 from I equals 1 to 5. That doesn't mean dahil wala kayong makitang I, wala na kayong papalitan. Ibig sabihin nito, magsa-summation pa rin kayo. Yan, 5 I. 5. Diba? Kasi, ulit-ulit kong sinabi, ang babaguhin lang natin is yung may I lang kasi yun yung index. Kung wala kayong makitang I, you will still proceed to summation pero wala kayong babaguhin. So, from I equals 1 to 5, 5 yan, that is 25. Okay. Baliktarin naman natin. Dito sa example number 3 natin, meron tayong summation and then in-expand natin and simplify. What if given tayo ng expression or nung mismong series, sum ng sequence, gagawan natin ng sigma notation. So, ang key dito, para ma-solve tong mga to is to find a pattern. To look for pattern. Tignan mo kung saan yung mga nagbabago, saan yung mga hindi nagbabago. And then you kinda summarize, no? And make sure na yung gagawin mong general term, actually you are looking for a general term here, will satisfy or will represent each term. Ibig sabihin, dapat yung general term, kahit ano man ang i-substitute ko na number, dapat makukuha ko pa rin yung term na yun. So for number 1, we have 1 plus 1 half plus 1/3 plus 1/4 up to plus 1 all over 100. Yung yung first term natin na 1, it can be written as 1 all over 1, tama? So pwedeng 1 all over 1 yan. As you can see, Lahat ng terms natin, from 1 to 1 all over 100, pare-parehas lang yung kanilang numerator. 1 lang lagi. Okay? Dahil hindi yan nababago, kopyahin mo na kaagad yun. So, syempre, huwag mong kakalimutan yung sigma notation. 1, nasa taas. Diba? Dahil hindi siya nagbabago, kukopyahin mo lang siya kasi hindi siya apektado ng magiging index natin mamaya. Pero nakapansin natin yung kanilang mga denominators, as you can see, nagbabago. And actually, nag-i-increase yan. Nag-a-add siya ng 1 every time. So, nagsimula sa 1, 1 all over 1, then naging 2, naging 3, naging 4. Dahil nagbabago siya, may variable siya. So, gamitin ko pa rin yung variable na I. Ayan. 1 all over I. From I equals, saan ba nagsimula yung denominator natin? Nagsimula sa 1. Yun yung first term. So, from I equals 1 up to, hanggang saan yung last term? 100. O, yan na. Yan na kaagad yung ating sigma notation for the given series. Diba? As you can see, to check lang, pag in-expand mo yan, ang babaguhin mo lang is yung I. So, yung 1 sa numerator, hindi mababago. Kaya yung first term, 1 divided by I, 1. And then, you change. Second term, 2. Yan. So, makukuha mo itong given problem. Ganun magsulat ng sigma notation, or to summarize or to contract a given series into sigma notation. You are actually looking for a pattern, a general term, which is applicable to all of the given terms. Number 2, you try to solve. So, let's look for pattern. You look at the numbers. Yung numbers, nasa na yun? Ayan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Diba? It's the natural numbers. Integers. Magkakasunod. So, if we summarize that into summation, equals summation ng I. Kasi nagbabago each term. Diba? However, as you can see, nag-alternate yung sign nila. Negative 1, positive 1, positive 2, negative 3, positive 4, minus 5, plus 6, minus 7. Every odd number, naka-minus siya. Every positive or even number, naka-add siya. So, kagaya nga ng sinabi natin kanina, 'di ba, yung negative 1 raised to n, this is an oscillating sequence, pwede natin gamitin yan. So, dadagdagan lang natin, i-multiply natin siya ng negative 1 to I times I. So, be careful lang. Dapat makuha natin yung tama. So, when I equals 1, tama ba? Check natin. Negative 1 raised to 1 times 1. That is negative 1 times 1, negative 1. Okay, tama yung first term. When I equals 2, negative 1 squared times 2. Negative 1 squared is positive 1 times 2, positive 2. So, tama. Tama din yung second. And of course, magiging tama na yung mga susunod dyan. Hanggang saan? Hanggang 25.
Wait. Negative 1 and the exponent of 2. How do you answer that again?
Negative 1 squared is positive 1. 1 times 2. So, 1 times 2 is 2. Kaya positive 2. So this is the correct sigma notation from 1 to 25. Again, we basically look for pattern lang. No, you notice wala namang nagbabago yung each number, and kasabay ng pagbabago ng each number, nagbabago din yung sign. So you should take note of that. Kailangan mabago din yung sign. Dahil dyan, mag-multiply tayo ng negative 1 raised to I para sabay sa pagbabago ng number, yung sign niya magbabago din. Okay. For number 3, summation ng, as you can see, hindi naman nababago yung variable A. Siya lagi. Ang nababago yung subscript niya. So, ang babaguhin lang natin yung subscript. So, you copy A because hindi naman siya nagbabago, constant siya. I mean, it remained unchanged. So, variable A. Ang babaguhin lang natin yung nandito sa subscript. Pero as you can see, ano yung nakalagay sa subscript? 2, 4, 6, 8 up to 20. So 2, 4, 6, 8 are actually even numbers. So hindi included yung natural or yung odd numbers. So paano natin gagawin 'yon? Paano natin i-summarize yung even numbers? Ano ang general term ng even numbers? 2 times I. Yan, 2I. From I equals 1 up to, dahil 20 up to 20, meron na tayong 2 na nakamultiply up to 10. Okay, hindi mo kasi pwedeng ilagay na I lang yan, 1 to 10, kasi syempre, A1, A2, A3, A4. Okay? Remember, ang progression ng I natin, nag-a-add lang tayo each time ng 1. We add 1 each term as I changes. But that's not how our sequence changes. Nag-change siya by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8. Dahil nag-change siya by 2s, mag-multiply ka ng 2. Diba? Yan lang yung pattern. We just look for pattern. So, if we expand this, tignan nyo, pag in-expand natin yan, A, 2 times 1. Kasi ang I natin from 1 to 10. A, 2 times 2. A, 2 times 3. A, 2 times 4. Okay? Pag sinimplify mo yan, 2 times 1, A2. O, di kuha mo na yung first term. 2 times 2, A4. 2 times 3, A6. 2 times 4, 8. O, kuha na lahat hanggang sa 10. So, that is the sigma notation for number 3. Sigma notation has properties which is very useful din para sa atin na malaman para mas mapadali pa yung pagsosolve ng sigma notation. Ito, yung constant. Actually, itong tatlong to, it is what we call the linearity property. For example, if a general term is being multiplied to by a constant, or if every term is being multiplied by a certain constant, you can factor out that certain constant, at dahil constant nga siya, hindi siya apektado ng changes ng index ng or ng ano natin, I natin, pwede mo siyang ilabas, i-factor out. Factor out mo na lang yung C. Total, hindi naman siya apektado ng changes ng index or yung pagbabago ng I natin from M to N. Labas mo na lang siya. Kagaya nitong problem natin kanina, balikan ko. Itong number 1, ito. Diba? As you can see, mayroon tayong nakamultiply na 2i. So, dito ko na lang ilagay. Yung example natin is summation ng 2i plus 3. Or tanggalin muna natin yung plus 3 yan. Summation ng 2i from 2 to 4. Yan. Yung 2, constant yun na nakamultiply. Diba, hindi siya mababago hindi siya sasama sa pagbabago ni I. Which means, if we expand this, we get 2 times 2, kasi magsisimula tayo sa 2 na lower limit, plus 2 times 3, plus 2 times 4. And actually, dahil nakamultiply si 2, you can factor that out. Diba? So, factor out 2, you get 2 plus 3 plus 4. Yan. And you get the same result. So, ibig sabihin nito, if we have a constant being multiplied to the general term or to the summand, pwede mo siyang ilabas or i-factor out. So, yung summation ng 2i is the same as 2 times the summation of I. Again, the 2b is being factored out from I equals 2 to 4. So, you can only do this kapag nakamultiply. Okay? And that is the same as 2 times, since si I lang ang magbabago, 2 plus 3 plus 4. 2 to 4. 2 to 4. Yan. And then, parehas lang siya dun sa una nating ginawa, na kapag in-expand mo siya, 2 times 2 plus 2 times 3 plus 2. So, that is our proof. Diba? Pag dinistribute mo to, parehas lang. Yan, 2 times 2 plus 2 times 3 plus 2 times 4. Yan. So, this is one property ng sigma notation. Pag may nakamultiply na constant ha, ibig sabihin number, pwede mo siyang i-factor out. As long as number siya. Kung may kasama siyang variable, hindi mo siya pwedeng i-factor out. Dapat purely constant lang siya. Okay? Another property, kapag meron tayong dalawang summand or function ni I, separated by addition, pwede natin silang i-evaluate ng magkahiwalay at tig-isa sila ng summation symbol. So, ito naman yung proof nito. Since f of I and g of I are both functions of I, ibig sabihin, nagbabago sila as I changes. So, pag in-expand mo yan, yung normal na expansion, f of m plus g of m, right? Kasi they are both functions of I. And we begin with lower limit m. Next, yung susunod, next term is f of m plus 1 plus g of m plus 1. Next term is f of m plus 2 plus g of m plus 2. Hanggang sa marating mo yung f of n plus g of n. And since, tingnan nyo, since they are addition naman, we can rearrange this actually to f of m plus f of, parang iayusin mo lang ng konti yung, pag inayos natin yung kanilang position, ayan, tapos pagsasamahin lang natin lang ng lahat ng g at saka f, as you can see, parehas lang yung makukuha natin. Ayan. This is the same as this one. And this is the same as. So, that is actually the proof.
So, ibig sabihin, one property of sigma notation, kung separated ka ng addition, pwede mo silang paghiwalayin at tig-isa sila ng summation. And this is also true sa subtraction. Actually, dapat plus minus yan. Plus minus. Kung separated ka ng subtraction, pwede mo rin paghiwalayin yun. So, addition or subtraction. This property kasama yung una, yung constant, is called linearity property ng sigma notation. So, let's apply these properties para lalo nating mag-gets. Actually, this is not a property. This is just a siguro theorem. Pag in-expand kasi natin yung C, again, C is a constant here. Hindi niya mababago or hindi siya bababago, 'di ba? Kasi I lang yung babaguhin natin. Pero still, we still proceed with summation. So C plus C plus C plus C plus C hanggang sa kung ilan mang C yan. And pag pinag-add natin, this is the same as yon, C times n minus 5 plus 1. Parang yung example natin kanina na summation ng 5 from I equals 1 to 5. This is the same as 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. Limang 5. So, using this theorem, this is the same as 5 times n. Ang n natin, upper limit, 5 minus lower limit, 1 plus 1. And minus 1 plus 1 cancel. 5 times 5 is 25. You see, parehas lang. So, this is a theorem for pag nagsa-summation tayo ng constant. Ayan, ito na example. Evaluate daw natin yung summation of 4i minus 5 from I equals 1 to 30. So, syempre, i-apply natin yung properties niya. As you can see, they are separated by subtraction. So, pwedeng tig-isa sila ng summation. 4i from I equals 1 to 30 minus summation ng 5 from I equals 1 to 30. Okay, I used the linearity property ng summation. And you can further simplify this. As you can see, yung 4 is a constant being multiplied to a function of I. So, pwede mong ilabas si 4. That is 4 times the summation of I from I equals 1 to 30 minus ito si 5 ay constant na, 'di ba? Pag constant, ano yung property natin? Kapag meron tayong summation ng constant from I equals m to n, this is the same as, or this is equal to C times n minus m plus 1. Yan. Yung constant natin is 5, that is C. So we have minus 5 times n. Ang n yung upper limit. Ang upper limit natin sa given example is 30. So, 5 times 30 minus m. Ang m natin is 1. Lower limit. So, 1. And then, meron tayong plus 1 sa dulo. Four times I from 1 to 30 means 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 hanggang 30. Minus 5 times minus 30 minus 1 plus 1 is just 30. Okay, we have to mamaya na lang natin lagyan ng ano to. Okay, ano kaya ang shortcut nito? Summation ng I. Tignan natin. Okay. Sulat, pag in-expand ko yung I from 1 to 30, actually that is an arithmetic series eh. Ayan, pero papakita ko lang. Tingnan nyo. Plus 27 plus 28 plus 29 plus 30. Pag finold natin, pag pinagsama natin yung dulo sa dulo, 1 plus 30 is 31. 2 plus 29 is 31. 3 plus 28 is 31. 4 plus 27 is 31. We can continue that hanggang sa magtabi yung 15 at saka 16 dito. 31 yan. Diba? Ilang 31 yan? Siyempre, hinati natin yung 1 to 30 sa dalawa. So, 15. So, this is 15 times 31 minus 150. Actually, we can generalize this observation, yung ginawa nating pag-add ng dulo sa dulo, into a formula. Kapag nag-add tayo ng numbers, ang ginawa natin is in-add natin yung dulo sa dulo. So, kung ang dulo natin sa upper limit natin ay n, 1 plus n. Diba? Ito yung 1 plus 30. 31. Tapos minultiply natin sa ilang 31 yon. Pinilang lang natin yung kung ilan yung n, then dinivide natin sa dalawa. Kasi parang finold natin kumbaga. Pinagpapares-pares natin yung mga magta-31 ang sum. So, 30 divided by 2. That is actually n divided by 2. So, this is actually the formula for summation ng I from I equals 1 to n. Yan, take note of that. Para hindi na kayo para hindi mo na expand. Kasi what if 100 na yan? You can use the same observation. Tingnan mo, 1 tapos yung 100 dulo. O 101. 2 at saka 99. 101 din. 3 at saka 98. 101. So,
What happens when n is an odd number?
it's the same. You just, you just use this formula. If, for example, 99, hanggang 99 lang, 1 all over 99. 1 plus 99 is 100. 2 plus 98 is 100 also. 3 plus 97 is 100. But because this is an odd number, thank you for that question. But because this is an odd number, merong matitira. There is a middle number, right? So, actually, that middle number is 50. And that is 1 all over 1 plus n divided by 2. 1 plus 99, 100 divided by 2. So, still, this formula stands. For any number, this is for any number, even or odd man. For any positive integer, even or odd, this is applicable. So, please take note of that. Okay, so going back to the problem, 4 times 5 4 times 15 times 31 is 1,860 minus 150. This is 1710. Is correct. Any questions? So, in-apply natin dito yung linearity property. And dinerive na rin natin yung formula for summation ng I. This is the formula for summation ng I from I equals 1 to n, where n is any positive real number. Positive integer. Odd man yan o even, applicable ito. Okay, any questions?